Hello all, welcome to the session of Python programming language. Today we will be discussing about the concept of classes and functions. Okay. In the previous session we had discussed about the classes and objects, and we had learned how to access the class members and how to create an object and how to access the members of the class through object. So if I want to access the class variable or an object reference or an object variable, so then you can use dot operator. So with this dot operator you will be able to access all the members of that particular class. Okay, now let's move on to defining a function. So we know that the function in procedure oriented language and the method we call it in object oriented languages are almost similar, but still there is a minor difference between these two. Okay, the functions are defined outside the class and it can be accessed from any point of the time, but when you are creating a method, so the method will be a member of that particular class and only through object you will be able to access those methods. So we will be seeing the details of method in our next session. For now we will be studying about the function oriented languages or function oriented concepts in Python. So generally there are two types of functions. One is pure functions and modifiers. So I hope you remember the C programming concepts, where when you are trying to pass the parameter from actual parameter to formal parameter, so the data will be copied from formal to actual and there will be no modification on the data that you are going to pass. So that is one part of a different concepts. So when I come to pure functions, so whenever you pass an object as an argument, so that particular function will take the argument but do not modify the original argument that has been passed. Okay, but whereas the modify function, the name itself will suggest that, so whenever you are passing an object as a parameter, the object will be completely changed and it will be returned to the calling program. Okay. So if you want to take a real-time example, consider a bank transaction. So when you are doing some bank transaction, the details of a customer is one part of an object and the amount or the account related to him is another part of the object. So when you are sending this input as a parameters to the calling function to do debit or a credit to the account, then it is a matter of that, the particular details of the customer will not be modified, only the account details will be modified. So here the customer details are pure functions because whatever you are passing will not be modified, whereas the account details where you are doing credit or debit to that particular amount will be modified. So this is called a modifier function. So here in this example we are taking a time related program. So we know that consider we are creating a class. So in this class I am not creating any class variable, rather I am creating an instance variable. So when you see this program, and here I will be creating a class variable and this class variable will have only the documentation. So later in the next stage I will be creating time is equal to time as a object. So here the small t, whatever you are taking, the time or whatever I take a t will be object of that particular class. Say suppose we know that the time is going to have three set of if you can see here, three set of variables, that is hour, minute and a second. So you can assign the value of t dot hour is equal to some 12. So similarly you can assign t dot minute is equal to 24. So similarly you can assign t dot second is equal to some 37, not 70 because it does not cross above 60. So now if I try to print, so this is what the values that is been assigned for the t object. So if you can see, our hour, minute and second are the instance variables of the class. So when you see this program, I am using a small function which is going to print our time in a particular format. So what is that predefined? It's not a predefined function. The function that has been defined by the user, you can see it is printed in the time format. So how do you call a function here? You are calling a function with the print underscore time, and here you are passing an object called t. So please do not get confused with this t and that t. So I will use this time is equal to small time, and here you will have a small time, and then I will be passing this time object as a parameter. So when you are passing the time as an object, so this time will be copied to this parameter. So the actual parameter will be copied to formal parameter, and when the function is executed, it does not modify the content of the object. If you can see this function, it does not modify the content of the object. So hence it is called pure function. So when I run this program, you can see it will be displayed in the form of 12, 24 and 56. Okay, hope I am clear. Next we will move on to actual definition of pure function. We call a pure function as a function where the return value is always dependent on its input value. So what exactly is this? When you take up some predefined function like cos of x, sin of x, tan of x, so whatever the input that you give as a x will be the same value. If I give x as a 60 degree, cos of 60 degree, even if you run 100 times, the cos of 60 degree you will be getting the same result. So here the value, the output or the return value is only determined by its input value. Even if you run 100 times, the content will not be changed. The output will be given based on the input that you have given. So here it does not have any side effects. So the output of a pure function will be always dependent on its input, and the communication is happening only through parameters and the return value. Such functions are called pure function. As we saw previously, one of the example of pure function where you are passing input. So how many times you pass this input, it will be printing with the some output. So based on the input, the output will also be determined. So here they have taken one more example of a pure function where you are going to add two time problems, that is nothing but 2 times. What I can say is, for example, 11, 24, 32, 12, 31, 45. So I am trying to add 2 times here. I am passing a time as an object, and it is going to return some other object as an output. If you can see this example here, is it so easy for you to add the time 2 times and just keep it? It's not possible. So if you can see here, this is time 1 and this is time 2. So when you perform the addition of this 24 hours, and this will be 89 minutes. So we do not have any concept of 89. Our minutes is restricted only to 60. So what we are supposed to do, we are going to subtract 60 by 89, that is 89 minus 69 will be 29. So that 29 will be added to the minutes, or 29 will be added to this okay. So based on that, we will see the example of it. So we know there is a class called time, and here we know there is a so that we are going to define a function. So we know that how we are going to print the time in a specific format. Now we will have 2 time objects, one is t1 and another one is t2. So let's see this program, and if you can observe here, I am going to take same class and I am going to print here, and now I will be creating 2 time objects. that is nothing but t1. Already it has been created, so we will move on to different set of times. One is time t1, so where I am assigning the hour, minute and seconds, and I am going to print that in a specific format. Similarly, so here if you can see, the name of the predefined function that I have given is print underscore time. Okay, similarly here the predefined, I'm very sorry, it's not a predefined function, it's a function that is defined by the user, and you are going to print t1 and t2. So if you run this program, we will see what is the output. So 11 plus 12 will be time 1 is time 2. We are going to just identify time 1 and time 2. Now let's move on to performing the addition of t1 and t2. So in order to perform addition of t1 and t2, I am using this, I am calling the function t1 is equal t3 is equal to t1 and t2. If you can observe here, when I am passing two objects t1 and t2 as a parameter, t1 t2 should not be changed. There should be no modifications on t1 and t2, but it should give me a different output by performing the addition of these two. So after adding, I am going to again use print underscore time of t3, where t3 will be the output objects. So now let's just see what is the function that has been and how it is been. This is a very simple and common sense function, so that we are using. So what happens? I need to add hours, minutes and seconds. So what is that? I will create a local variable called sum, which belongs to a time object, and now I will add t1 dot hour, t2 dot hour, and I will be adding it in this hour, sum dot hour. And similarly you will add 2 minutes and add it to sum, and seconds, and I will be adding it here. Now suppose my time has crossed above 60. So if it has crossed about 60 seconds, see if you can observe here, if the time after adding 2 times, I would have got something like 80. It means, so there is only 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So what you are supposed to do, if you remove 80 minus 60, you will be left out with 10 seconds, and this extra, that 60 whatever you have removed, should be added to a minute. This is very simple common sense. So sum dot second, so what you are going, you first will cut the 60 seconds if it is crossing beyond that, and keep only the 10 as a second, and the left 60 seconds will be added to a minute. Similarly you are doing it for hour. Okay, so if the minute is beyond 60, you will be subtracting that with minus 60 and adding every minute of that to a hour. Okay, so now when I run this program, we will see whether we have got correct or not. Okay, so we have got an error. Why? Because I have done some calculations here which was not required. So when we run this program, so it says t2 is not defined. So shall we see what is that t2 not defined? Name error, add underscore time. So because I have created this t2 after it's been called. So let's go on to this. You should be very careful when you are running the program. See here, 11 plus 12 will be 24. Yes. 59 plus 30 will be 89. In that, if you reduce 60, so only 29 will be left, and the rest will be added to 1. So 11 plus 12 is 23, plus 1 will become 24. So 30 plus 10 is 40. There is no issues, and it is going to perform. So what happened here? Why do we call it as a pure function? So when you are passing t1 and t2 as an object, so it takes these two inputs and returns some other output. Here the output is dependent on the input parameter that you are going to pass. So now let's move on to another one of the function. So here if I want to check, for example, validate whether the time is correct or not, or if you have given something like 26 about 24, 26 or 27. So how do you check? So if you want to check whether you have given valid time, if the hour is between 0 to 25, you can write this code in any way. If the time of hour is greater than less than 0, and similarly if it is greater than 25 and the minute is greater than 60 or something, that before adding, I am talking about T1 and T2 objects. If you have given the wrong time, then it will return false, else it will be returning true. Okay, so before giving before passing that to a T1 and T2 for add time, if you validate the time, it would be well enough for you to give an accurate results. And here, instead of I want to check whether before in the function itself I want to check whether the time is valid or not. So instead of using if condition, so the Python provides a keyword called assert. Okay, if the condition assert is almost equivalent to if condition. If the condition is true, yes, it will go to the next part of the statement. But if the condition is false, the assert has some exception. It is going to throw an exception by default if the condition goes to false. Okay, so that is assert statement. For now, just remember, instead of if condition, we can use assert keyword. So now let's move on to another one concept called modifier function. What is modifier function? As we discussed here, it has side effects. When you pass some parameter as an object, so that object will be completely modified and will be returned to the calling function. So what is an example? I said for example, a student marks, okay, after revaluation, that student marks will be added or it will be reduced and it will be returned. So that is a modifier function. And here I want to increment the time with 45. So 45 may be a second, or it may be, you can consider it as a minute, or it can be anything. Okay, so now when you call this function time1 comma 45, I want to add 45 to this time object for only seconds. So what I can do is, when I pass, I am going to add seconds here directly. But if the second is going beyond 60, so what you should do, you should subtract and add it to a minute. And after adding to a minute, if the time minute is going beyond 60, you need to add it to hour and then do it. Okay, so this will happen until they have used while also, while looping construct. So this will be repeatedly happening until it works out, or you can do it with if condition as well. So difference between the pure function and modifiers: pure function they do not have any side effects, or it takes the input and returns the output, where output is dependent on input here. Here also the output is dependent on input, but rather the object itself is modified by the function that is defined. Okay, so next we are moving on to prototyping versus planning. Suppose tomorrow you are going to be a developer in the software company. So when you want to come out with a product or a project, so you will have some prerequisites that has to be considered. So you need to make a rough draft of the program, you need to have the modules, you need to have algorithms, flowcharts well defined, and for these algorithms how well you can fit the inputs and what might be the expected output, and how you are performing testing, what kind of errors might occur and how to resolve it, what type of exceptions I have to define during real-time process. So all these are the well planned and processing steps. So this is called prototype and patch. Okay, so when this will happen is when you do not know the actual outcome of the product. Say for example, they come and they'll ask you to design a software for your college to do many things. You know just a simple that there will be this output, but random output, but you cannot go in depth and analyze until you start defining your program modules completely. So this is called prototype and patch. Means you are trying to do patchworks After you develop the code, you might feel this has to be enhanced, modified, then you do a patchwork, you add some other, and now this how if you take up an example of time, so just we added the time object, we printed the function with the time object, we added two time objects, later we found that we need to check whether the time is valid or not. So there is an incremental development. So another incremental development for the code is you can convert the time into integers, because we might need that in the form of seconds, total number of seconds, or you can convert again from seconds to actual time. So how this can be done is you can define a function. So okay, so if you can see this example, I want to convert this into number of seconds. So 12 hours is equal to 60 minutes. So first you will convert that into minutes. So you will get 720 plus 20 minutes is 740 minutes. Then this minute has to be converted into seconds. So 740 minutes is converted into seconds by multiplying it with 60. This is very sorry, 60 is being missed here. It has to be converted into 60. 740 into 60 plus 35, we will see what will be the output. So if you clear this 740 into 60, which is equal to this, plus you are going to add the seconds, will be 44,435 seconds. And similarly, if you want to convert this 444 into 35 seconds back to a time object, then you can use this logic. So if you go for div mode, so I need to first divide that into seconds, again then divide that into minute. So when you are assign this, div mode is nothing but it divides the argument, okay, and it returns minutes as well as seconds both. Clear? So here just it is performing, and since it is a tuple, it returns 2, it will be assigned to 2 variables. That's it. The same logic will be applied. Okay, and here further if I want to improve on adding the time, so here first I will convert that into seconds and then perform the operation. That would be much easier. Okay, now there is this has been asked in the previous year question paper. You will be given a date and time. I need to extract the month from the date, or seconds from the date, year from the date. It's just like that. So for that you need not worry. So you have all predefined set of functions for it. So you will have a library called date and time, date time, and from that date time you can extract date dots today. So when you extract a date, so you will get a date like 26/4/2020. In that you will extract a year. So strf time is a predefined function that converts the given string, whatever we have given, in the specific format argument. So if I give %y, it will take that and extract 2020. If I give %b, so they are all predefined, it will give you the month. If I extract date dot today, if I want to extract year, so you will have day of the year, I'm very sorry, day of the year, that is how many days got over. So similarly you have these predefined function. Month can be defined by using a percentage day of the month, that is 26, if you can observe here 26th, and which week you are extracting, that is A. So please by heart this simple formatting specifications that is required to extract the value out of the date and time. Okay, next there is one more program here. So when you would have seen in your day-to-day life activities, where when you are given your date of birth, it will calculate. When you are filling Aadhaar card or filling some registrations, it will, when you give your date of birth, it will tell you what age you are. Okay, so for that sake, a Python you can write a program in Python. This is actually an assignment for you, but still I have given the hint for you to write this code, but you have to write the same program by using class, Python class. See, now you will take, I'll just give an example of this. You are going to take a input of your birthday in the format of month, date and year. Okay, now I want to strip time. So please remember, strip time is nothing but it will add this, take this input, whatever the birthday you have taken, and convert that into a date time object. So what is date time object? So we all know the date time object is being in a specific format. So when I use strip time, it will take my input and convert that in this date time object, string to string object, time object. Okay, so if you print this birth underscore date, so you can see this program. I'll just show you the example of the program. Okay, so here I am taking, this is the current date and time. I will take the input of, print current date. So what is today's date? Today's date will be printed. I don't know whether in what format or what this it will take, that is area it is going to take. Today is 29/4/2020, but the time is of different format. It has to be converted into Indian timing format. So that part we will see it later, but for now, so now what is, enter your date of birth. So I am entering, say for example 12, how it is 12th month and 12th year and something like 1980. Okay, so when you run this, give the enter, so what you will have, you will have the specific format. So by using strip time, it will convert this string input to a time object. Okay, this is as simple as it is. Now here from this birth date, I need to calculate how many days left, how many years left, how many months left, and based on that you will be printing how many years it got over till now. What is the year? Just you are going to subtract from the current date to your birth date. If you subtract, because you know how to extract the years and you know how to extract the minutes and strings, so the total number of days left, so you can just take today's date and birthday date, and days left can be calculated very easily. So what is birth date, you know completely. What is current date? Both are in the same format. It is easy for you. If you want, we will run this program and see how many, what might be the output of this program. So if you go on executing this, so you will be able to analyze. Until and unless you execute and analyze, you will not be able to know. So this is minus, we will see. Okay, so 12/12/1980. Okay, this is not my date of birth, of course. So how many days are there? If it will just subtract directly the birth date minus current date, so it will be minus 143, because it knows what is that, it will convert automatically. There will be number of days format where the days will be calculated and subtracted from it, from 365 days. Okay, so this is how, and in continuation with this program you can just go through the every part of the statements and run. Okay, so you will have an exercise problem for this to create a USN, and this is the same exercise problems that we had given previously. By using function and classes you are supposed to do. Thank you one and all.